The politics of Japan are conducted in a framework of a multi-party bicameral parliamentary representative democratic constitutional monarchy in which the emperor is the head of state and the prime minister is the head of government and the head of the cabinet, which directs the executive branch. Legislative power is vested in the National Diet, which consists of the House of Representatives and the House of Councillors. The House of Representatives consists of 18 standing committees ranging in size from 20 to 50 members, and the House of Councillors has 16 ranging from 10 to 45 members. Judicial power is vested in the Supreme Court and lower courts, and sovereignty is vested in the Japanese people by the Constitution. Japan is considered a constitutional monarchy with a system of civil law. The Economist Intelligence Unit rated Japan a full democracy in 2020. Promulgated on 3 November 1946 and coming into effect on 3 May 1947. Following the Japanese Empire's defeat to the Allies in WW2. Japan's constitution is perhaps one of the most unique, in terms of its creation and ratification at least, in the world. The creation and ratification of this document has been widely viewed as forced upon Japan by the United States, although this imposition claim arose originally as a rallying cry among conservative politicians in favor of constitutional revision in the 1950s. It has also been supported by the research of several American and Japanese historians of the period. A competing claim, which also emerged from the political maelstrom of the 1950s revision debate and has been supported by more recent scholarship, holds that the ratification decision was the result of collaboration between U.S. occupation authorities, successive Japanese governments of the time, and private sector actors. Regardless of whether either claim is correct, it is undeniable that, with its codification mostly by American authors, the Japanese constitution takes many of its previous occupiers' values, as is demonstrated by its institutions bearing many similarities to Western democracies and in the rights enshrined in it reflecting concepts of liberty. That is not to say, however, that this constitution, despite indeed not being brought about by the people, was not supported by them. In fact, the constitution was a largely popular concept to the post-war Japanese public, even if that was somewhat down to relief, a belief that the US would save the nation from its economic ruin and a culture of submissiveness to authority. The Constitution offers one of the most extensive catalogues of rights in the world. Another unique aspect of its constitution is that it has not been formally amended since its ratification. That is not to say there have been no changes regarding it. However, the Constitution, specifically Article 9, has been readjusted, largely by former Prime Minister Shigeru Yoshida, with the addition of extra constitutional laws and subsequently reinterpreted by Shinzo Abe since then, with the reinterpretation of self-defense as meaning it can respond to perceived threats almost anywhere on the globe. The Constitution of Japan defines the emperor to be the symbol of the state and of the unity of the people. He performs ceremonial duties and holds no real power. Political power is held mainly by the Prime Minister and other elected members of the Diet. The imperial throne is succeeded by a member of the imperial house as designated by the imperial household law. The chief of the executive branch, the Prime Minister, is appointed by the Emperor as directed by the Diet. They are a member of either house of the Diet and must be a civilian. The cabinet members are nominated by the Prime Minister, and are also required to be civilian. With the Liberal Democratic Party in power, it has been convention that the president of the party serves as the Prime Minister. Japan's constitution states that the National Diet, its law-making institution, shall consist of two houses, namely the House of Representatives and the House of Councillors. The Diet shall be the highest organ of state power, and shall be the sole law-making organ of the state. It states that both houses shall consist of elected members, representative of all the people, and that the number of the members of each house shall be fixed by law. Both houses pass legislation in identical form for it to become law. Similarly to other parliamentary systems, Most legislation that is considered in the Diet is proposed by the Cabinet. The Cabinet then relies on the expertise of the bureaucracy to draft actual bills. The lower house, the House of Representatives, the most powerful of the two, holds power over the government, being able to force its resignation. The lower house also has ultimate control of the passage of the budget, the ratification of treaties, and the selection of the Prime Minister. Its power over its sister house is, if a bill is passed by the lower house,